Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of a zombie horror film from 2005, and tonight's movie is from the director, well, the man who made the modern zombie, so without him we wouldn't have, we probably wouldn't have zombie films. And he's the director of Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, which is my all-time favorite zombie movie, and Day of the Dead. So I know he can direct a good movie. I mean, I've yet to see a horror movie from him that I didn't like. I mean, even his stuff that aren't zombie films, the few that I've seen from him that aren't zombie films, I still really liked. Stuff like Creepshow and what was that other one? Monkey Shines. Those were really good. So tonight's movie is his return to the zombie genre from 2005. It is Land of the Dead. I got this last Saturday for $4 at Buybacks. I just bought it because I figured, well, I wanted to see Land of the Dead for a while, and I think it'd be a good chance to see the movie. And if I like it, I can already own it. So yeah. This movie has to do with people. This is I think it's his fourth entry in his Of the Dead series, and all the films are connected in the sense that they're all based in the same universe, but they're not all. They're all kind of based in the same universe, but they're not connected story-wise. And basically, this one's about the zombies have taken over the world. And the last living humans, they're they're living in a city that's been walled off from everything else. They're trying to stay hidden from these zombies as they slowly, come to terms with how they have to live now because of the apocalypse. So this sounds genuinely interesting. And this is the director's cut of it, which. Yeah, it's the director's cut. Now, where's our director's cut of Dawn of the Dead, damn it? But I'm gonna quit talking now, and let's just get on with the review. Shall we? I also forgot to mention the reason I'm covering this movie, which is really interesting because zombie films used to be my favorite subgenre of horror. Until they really oversaturated the market. And my birthday is this month, and apparently May is is National Zombie Awareness Month. So happy National Zombie Awareness Month. This movie opens with the title and the credits and in a flashback kind of sequence of what has happened so far in the Of the Dead universe. Then there's some zombies walking around the graveyard, and there's even a band of zombies. I'm sure they were previously a band, and they're trying to play instruments, but they can't because they're so stupid. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually a pretty funny scene. So apparently in how it is, zombies have kind of evolved. They don't run, thankfully. I do not like running zombies. It's just not. I don't think it's a very cool. It's just something that someone came up with, hey, what if we take these things and make them run? I mean, it's not really original or anything like that, but neither is a slow-walking zombie, so I gotta give them that. But in this one, the zombies have kind of evolved, and they're starting to, learn things and remember things about their life. Like in Dawn of the Dead, when they're returning to the mall, and they say maybe it's because this place used to be very important to them when they were alive. But there's this zombie, and you know how in Day of the Dead they have the main zombie, Bub, and he's and he remembers things. He slowly remembers things and even learns how to use a gun. Well, in this one there's a main zombie called Big Daddy, and you see him, and he's obviously supposed to be a gas station attendant, and he was a gas station attendant, obviously. And zombies walk by, press on the ringing bell thing, and he comes out, and he comes out he's a gas station attendant because that's what he did before he died. So, and the zombies have also kind of learned to communicate as well through like some grunts and stuff, which I think is a really cool addition to like the zombie mythos in general. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure that both of these things have been done before Land of the Dead, but I don't think I've seen it in, you know, like expressed this well in a film. So all in all, the acting in this movie is pretty good all around. Everybody turns in at least a good or decent performance. The writing is also pretty good, but then again, it is written by George Romero, who wrote Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead and all those other fantastic movies. The characters aren't super complex, but they are still likable, and you know, they're pretty fun to spend like this 90-minute trip with. Okay, I gotta touch on the gore, which I mean I was anyway, but the prosthetics in this movie are very good, and there's a good amount of practical gore effects and stuff like that, but sadly there's a few scenes that are very noticeable, and they use CG blood and gore. These scenes are more noticeable when they're doing like scenes where zombies are getting their heads cut off or something like that. For a few of the scenes that you see that happen, it's obvious that it is CG, and it's very sad to see, because the previous entry in the series was like completely practical. I mean, the effects were done by Tom Savini. Tom Savini is the master of practical gore effects, and it looks like, and they couldn't get him for this movie, sadly, and now they have this CG gore that looks really bad. I mean, it's not too, you know, too often, and it's not like every single scene involving gore is CG. It's just that the fact, like, I would have been okay with it if it happened like a few times, maybe with the blood, or if it happened like a few times with the like a couple, like 2 or 3 times with the blood, and then like once maybe with a decapitation. But the fact that this happens like 2 times with the decapitation and 5 times with blood spraying means that they were too lazy to use a squib. Now, don't take this as me giving this movie a bad rap, because I still liked it. They add some really cool, interesting elements to this film as well. Like, one of the coolest elements, which I honestly didn't expect to see in this movie, was the fact that, in this city that's completely walled off, there's this big apartment building where all these rich people are living, and they live in this apartment building. It's kind of like Tenpenny Tower in Fallout 3. They're living in this building like the apocalypse never happened, and they just live their lives. They just live their very rich, lavish lives, and that they live that while everybody else lives in the slums. So, you know, and I didn't expect that in this movie. This movie's also got some Mad Max kind of elements with, like, customized vehicles and, like, big gangs of people going out and, like, and scouting for supplies and stuff like that. Sorry, my back hurts. There's still an economy to this movie as well. Like, in this, they're still using dollars as the currency, and there's still, you know, there's still prostitution, there's still drugs, there's still gambling, there's still everything. Like, everything still exists, even in these times where tomorrow could be your last day, and you could be eaten by, you know, bloodthirsty corpses. And they're still worried about making money through prostitution and stuff like that. It's a really cool, interesting kind of twist. The camera work, lighting, music, sound mix, all those kind of technical things are all pretty good here. Honestly, overall, I really liked this movie. A couple cool things I realized when watching it. Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright make a cameo appearance in this movie. You don't know who they are. Simon Pegg starred in Shaun of the Dead. Edgar Wright directed and wrote Shaun of the Dead. And Shaun of the Dead is one of the best zombie comedies that I know of, that I've seen, and I absolutely love that movie. So yeah, they make a cameo appearance in this movie, which is really, really awesome. And they're even on the front cover art for the movie. I was trying, like, oh. Yeah, I can't get it, but, they're, like, on the cover art, like those two right there, those, you can't see that, you can't make that out, but, they're actually on the cover art for this movie, and they're on one of the posters, you know, like, as the zombies in the front row. So that's really, really cool. And, Tom Savini makes a cameo appearance in this movie. He actually shows up as the biker character from Dawn of the Dead who ends up getting killed by zombies. He shows up as that character as a zombie. So now we know that these two movies are connected in the sense that that biker's there, and now we know that that biker is a zombie. That he didn't actually, you know, die. He was actually zombified. So that's also a kind of cool aspect to it. Yeah. On the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like Nosferatu, and 10 being something like Brain Dead, Land of the Dead's probably about a 6. It gets pretty gory at times, although there's the CG gore, which really, like, I mean, honestly, this movie probably would have gotten maybe a 10 from me if it wasn't for the CG gore, honestly. I mean, it's that good that, and I honestly think it's a pretty underrated movie, because this is widely considered to be, like, the moment in George Romero's career where he started to, you know, suck at, you know, this is like the one segment in George A. Romero's career where a lot of people are like, he's going downhill, he should stop directing. And this movie is, like, widely considered to be one of the worst entries in the Living Dead or Of the Dead series. And honestly, I think it's pretty underrated, and honestly, I'd probably give it a 10 if it wasn't for the CG gore in this one. And now I'm gonna have to check out Diary of the Dead, because that's the other entry in the series, and after watching this one, I want to see if that one's any good, because that one is also considered to be kind of bad. But I'm rambling. I'm really fucking rambling. Yeah, if it wasn't for the CG gore, I'd probably give this one a really, really high rating, although I'm gonna give it a high rating anyway. So, is it the best movie in the Living Dead or Of the Dead series? No. No, it isn't. It is not the best movie in the series. Is it the worst? No. No, it is not. I mean, I've only seen the first 4 movies in the series, and this one is not the worst. Honestly, I don't think any of them I could consider to be the worst, because they're all really good, and honestly, Land of the Dead, for me, honestly, is on par with Day of the Dead. Speaking of Day of the Dead, I gotta pick up the Scream Factory release of it sometime. But, honestly, Land of the Dead on par with Day of the Dead for me. I liked it as much as I did Day of the Dead, and, I mean, if you're looking for a zombie flick that has a little bit of a twist to it, that has, you know, some original, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's 100% original, but original for a zombie film kind of ideas and stuff going on, this is definitely one I would recommend. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now, before I give my old signing off thing, I'd like to just say something. This is going to be one of the only reviews for this weekend, because this weekend I'm going to Rock on the Range in Columbus, which is where I live. I'm going to Rock on the Range, and, you know, bands like Slipknot, Marilyn Manson, they're going to be there tomorrow night, actually. So this is probably going to be the only review of the weekend. I might do another one on Sunday, because I'm not going Sunday, because there really isn't anybody I'm interested in seeing Sunday. But Saturday, Baby Metal is playing, which I'm really excited for. Now I'm going to just go ahead and sign off. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, like my channel, be sure to like this video, favorite it, whatever you want, and maybe subscribe perhaps. I would really, really appreciate that. And check the links in the description below. There are links to things like my Tumblr, Twitter, all that, Facebook. All that is in the description below. Hey there, kids. Do you want to get cool stuff in the mail like this? Or this? Or even this? Well, then subscribe to Horror Block today. Have you ever wanted to do cool cosplays like this? Or even this? Well, now you can. Subscribe to Chloe Moonchild Cosplay on YouTube, and you can see all her tutorials on how to do cool stuff like this. Do you want to get cool horror and exploitation film t-shirts like this? Or this? Or this? Well, then go to RottenCotton.com to check out all of their premium t-shirts.